Thank you for choosing Yellow Brick Road Excursions. Do you have a reservation with us today? You do, fantastic. Well, before you hop on the tour bus, can I just get a few pieces of information from you? Great. Let's see here. How did you arrive in Oz today? Was it by tornado or hot air balloon? All right. So, since you did arrive by tornado, where is your house parked, just so we can have the valet place it in a safe place? Okay. All right. So, in lot B. Okay. Great. Yeah, it'll be waiting for you most definitely when you're done with the tour today. Let me see here. And what package did you book with us today? Okay, so the tour from Munchkin Land to the Emerald City. Great. That will actually be bus 313. Okay. You have a great tour guide today. Her name is Olivia, so she'll be able to answer any questions that you may have along the way. Yeah. Terrific. And are you allergic to anything that we should know about? You'll be passing along some various flowers and shrubs, and we wouldn't want any harm to come to you, of course, so no. Okay. Well, if you do start to feel ill or car sick, or maybe as though your allergies are kicking up a bit at any point, just let the guide know and she'll be more than happy to help you. Okay? Okay, that's terrific then. That's all I needed from you. So we'll again have you board bus 313. Yeah, it's that blue one right there. Great. Okay. Hello everybody. Welcome aboard bus 313 here on Yellow Brick Road Tours. My name is Olivia and I am honored and privileged to be your tour guide this afternoon. Now, just by a show of hands, how many have been on the Yellow Brick Road before? Okay, so just a few of you. Okay, that's terrific. Well, as you all know, this tour is going to be going directly from Munchkin Land to the Grand Emerald City. Now, it is a direct route, so we won't be stopping anywhere, just for the sake of time. However, we will be pausing momentarily at important spots along the way so that you can take photographs and kind of get the full experience of the locale itself. All right? Okay, great. Now, we won't be serving refreshments on the bus, but when we reach Emerald City, there will be a luncheon that you're all invited to join. And at the luncheon, it's quite exciting. You'll get the chance to kind of partake of some of Oz's most decadent and delicious offerings. So, let me see here. Yes, we're right on schedule. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and take off now, and let me just do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Perfect. All of you are here. All right then. So let's get this underway, shall we? Wonderful. So, as we're kind of taking off here along the Yellow Brick Road, you'll notice that Munchkinland is a bit deserted these days. If any of you have seen the movie, which I'm sure most of you have if you're on this tour, you'll notice it's a bit different than it was depicted in the motion picture starring Judy Garland. These days, not very many people live in Munchkinland proper. Many of them have migrated to other cities, such as the Emerald City, and little towns that have popped up over time. Now, that motion picture was made many decades ago, so it's not really an accurate representation of what Oz is like today. It has grown over time, and a variety of things have changed. Namely, there have been various governments that have kind of cropped up, and all of Oz's citizens are now granted equality. So, for example, the flying monkeys are now able to obtain full-time employment if they so wish, and are eligible for all of the benefits that Oz citizens are able to be granted. So, yeah, step in the right direction. So, off to the left here, you will notice there's a beautiful little cottage. Yes, lavender is kind of growing wildly around it, and ivy is stretching up the walls. Now that is Glenda the Good Witch's summer home. Now she has a castle in the western quadrant of Oz. Before we go on, I do feel it's important to mention the cardinal directions are slightly skewed here in Oz. Yes, in your realm, east is actually the opposite of what it is here, so they're reversed. So Munchkinland is actually in what you would consider to be west, but it's actually east here. So I just wanted to clarify that because I will occasionally be using directions probably throughout the tour. So as I said, Glenda's castle is actually in the eastern side, or western side of Oz, excuse me. I'm even tongue-tied now. And so that is on the opposite end of the land. So we won't be touring that today, of course, because it's much too far away. But feel free to book another tour when you're done. We do have one that goes right to her castle, where you get to enjoy a reenactment of the ball that occurred there some years back. And it's quite the talk of the land for quite some time, actually. Let's see here. So she's not there at the moment, but she does have caretakers that kind of stay on top of the gardening and such, which is nice. Yeah. So as we go down the Yellow Brick Road, you'll notice that it's a bit wobbly in spots. There are some potholes and areas of disrepair. It's just simply from a lack of funds. They've raised the taxes steadily in various areas of Oz in recent years, but not quite enough to cover all of the roads leading through it. Especially when we go into the forest section itself, you'll notice that there are rather long stretches of road that are a bit jarring, so just be aware of that. Now this is a lovely area here. This is actually the exact location where Dorothy's house landed many years ago. Yes, as you can see, there are still some indentation marks there along the grass there. Yes. And in the movie, they depicted the socks of the witch immediately curling up. However, as you can see, they're still there, and they will be there for the foreseeable future, as they are enchanted after all. Every year, to commemorate Dorothy's landing, they have a bit of a get-together here, a gathering, if you will, and refreshments are served, things of that nature, and they do various different games, such as Pintail and the Lion, and sort of different themed events around Dorothy's stay here in Oz. Yes. Now, I believe we're coming up here Yes, upon the dark forest. So, I'd like you all to just sit back in your seats and make sure your seatbelts are very securely fastened. As I said, it can get a bit bumpy here. While we venture through the dark forest, you'll notice a variety of shrubs and trees appear to be alive, and that's because many of them actually are. Don't be alarmed, however, we are perfectly safe inside the vehicle. What I will have you do is I will have you roll down all of your windows. In fact, I'll do it for you. Let me push this button. Perfect. There is an enchanted barrier around the bus that will protect us, but I do want you to be able to hear kind of the sounds of the forest, as they are rather relaxing, surprisingly. So just please listen in and enjoy. The rustling of the trees, actually, they are quite movers and shakers. So. Rolled up the windows just because it can get a bit noisy after a while. As I mentioned very briefly while we were listening in, that is kind of the commotion that the trees make naturally. Now, some of the trees are often quite hostile, so we always encourage any groups that venture onto the Yellow Brick Road to kind of steer clear of this particular section, especially if they don't have magical transport, such as we do. Alright, so we're going to make our way a little further into the forest. And if you'll notice here, off to the right, that little cottage you'll see there actually belongs to the Scarecrow. He has 3 different properties throughout Oz itself. And he maintains this home about 2 months out of every year. Yes, it is rather an odd choice, but contrary to popular belief, he tends to be more of a solitary figure, so a bit of a hermit, if you will. It's quite run down looking, but I've actually been inside. They offer an Oz home tour, and I've been on that, and it's quite interesting. So if you're interested in architecture and just kind of seeing how the rich and famous in Oz live, that's definitely worthwhile. Okay, so we're coming up upon another interesting point here, just at the edge of the forest. Now, I mentioned the flying monkeys earlier very briefly, but this is actually their community here in Oz. They formed a bit of a village, and they have a tribal council, things of that sort, so they're becoming more organized. They are quite intelligent creatures also. Ever since the Wicked Witch of the West was, shall we say, dispatched from Oz, they've kind of gained their own independence, so it's been something rather remarkable to watch. And off to the left here, a little bit further down the road, is one of my favorites. This little town here is where all of the porcelain dolls dwell. And they are just charming people. As you can see, everything's a bit miniature. Now, this particular region of Oz was not mentioned in the original movie. However, in I guess it would be called a prequel, that came out rather recently, this did depict this little village here. However, it was in ruins in the movie after a bit of a raid. As you can see, it's fully intact. They've rebuilt everything since then, so... And plus, the events of that particular movie happened many years before Dorothy ever arrived, so this little town has had quite a bit of time to rebuild itself. I have a friend actually who lives there. Her name is Betty. She's a delightful creature. She loves cinnamon snickerdoodles. I always bring her a batch every time I make them. In fact, everyone in this town is quite fond of sweets, and they have afternoon tea religiously every day, so it's quite interesting. Alright, so we're going to go to drive by our last little spot before we reach the Emerald City. And I'm sure you'll all recognize this immediately. This is the Field of Poppies. So it's a lovely area, and of course, in the film itself, it was a bit of a sleep inducer, if you will. But why don't we listen into this too? If you listen very carefully, you can hear the wind kind of blowing through the poppies, and it makes an almost vocal noise. So just to listen here, I'll roll down the windows. All right. Isn't that lovely? Yes, it's so soothing, I think. So we're coming up here on the Emerald City. As you can see, it does live up to its name. You'll find virtually everything here is either glass or completely emerald, the natural stone, so or gemstone. It's a beautiful city. I've rarely stayed overnight here, however. I usually just come for the tours and head right back, but there are various different accommodations. I know that there are at least 5 bed and breakfasts here that serve absolutely delightful cuisine, and yes, well, everyone here is rather known for their hospitality. Oh, and if you look there, right there, that is the horse stables, where you'll notice a few different... Yes, the horse of a different color also is there. It's lovely the way that he changes from lavender to fuchsia to yellow. They actually have different equestrian events that you can attend here. Yeah, and you can see that horse up close, and it's absolutely amazing, the rainbow of colors that he displays. And let's see. If you'll notice there, that's the castle. Yes, where the infamous events took place with the wizard and Dorothy and all of her friends, of course. If you'll notice there, there's a statue, and that commemorates that particular event. And as you can see, there's a little carving there of the Tin Man and the lion and the scarecrow. Of course, Dorothy and Toto. Isn't that lovely? Well, I do hope you've enjoyed our tour. Feel free, please, to kind of roam around Oz. As I said, they're holding a luncheon, and that will be held at the main hall, yes, which is just off to our right here. However, there are a variety of different gift shops that you can look around and pick up a souvenir if you like. And I know for a fact that a variety of them have replica items that you can purchase. For example, a candy heart, or is a brain model. So it's a lovely little, I guess you could say, a kind of quirky theme that they have here. So feel free to look around. And we'll be leaving again in about 3 hours, so you have plenty of time to do whatever you'd like to do here in Oz. There's also a museum and a library, so you can check those out. And it's been a pleasure being your tour guide, and I look forward to seeing you on our journey back.